What I'm going to do today is go over the stick cork contraption that I come up with. Basically, you take a 3 1/4 inch stick cork, weighted version. You can see the weight sitting right in here. The tools that you're going to need for the job: an X-Acto knife, pair of pliers, piece of paper, something thin like a knife or plastic knife, and some epoxy. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to start off taking your X-Acto knife and slitting the cork completely down the middle. Okay, you're not going to be able to go all the way through it. You're going to hit the wire, the internal wire in there. Okay, I've already pre-cut this cork, but I'm just going over it. And you hit the wire, then you're able to tear it apart. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your butt end of this and you're going to push the loop out, the wire loop, and you want to straighten that loop right here. Take your pliers and straighten it out. What you want to do is pull your cork apart. Okay? Leave the knob assembly the way it is. Then you want to take the bottom half of your cork and just pull it out. Take the weight and put the other piece back in. Okay? So now you've got the weight, and what you want to do is you want to embed it in the bottom half of the cork. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your X-Acto knife and carve out. There's probably other ways to do this safer and more easier. I don't know if you can heat something up and stick it down in there to make a nice little hole or indentation. But I've found that this has been the most easiest for me without doing much experimenting. So I'm sitting here carving out a hole to put my internal weight in. And the reason we're doing this is so we can see a lift bite. And this does an extremely good job of determining, telling you when you have a lift bite on your float and fly. So now we've turned the hole internally. Try to do it as clean as you can. You can see that the weight is kind of thinner on one end than the other. Put the thin end first. Probably going to have to make it a little bit bigger, so we're going to carve a little more out. You just keep chipping away. You want it to fit snug. You don't want to ruin the outer wall of the cork at all, but you just want to hit it snug. Let's try it again. Just keep going at it. Pushing it in there. Push it in there pretty hard. Still needs a little bit more, so we're going to, at least by putting it in there, you can tell where it's rubbing and see what you need to get out of there. You know, it just takes a couple of trial and error to do it. There we go. You want it past snug. You want it very flat at the top. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. And completely embedded inside the cork. Okay, and that will make sure that you get a snug fit. Okay, now before you assemble this back together, what you're going to have to do is cut off. If you look at this thing real close, you need to cut off. You take your weight and you put it up against your wire. You need to cut it off at the length of that weight, the width of that weight. Eyeball it, close counts. So, what's that, an 1/8 inch maybe? Alright. Alright, now you want to take your cork and put it back together. Put your wire back inside it. And pluck it out just like that. You gotta put pressure on it to get that out. And you want to pin the smallest loop that you possibly can. Alright, and then take your pliers and bend you a loop. And it should fit in the little hole. Alright, so now you got a cork that you got to glue together. So what you're going to do now, take your epoxy, stir it up real good with your knife. Get it on that flat surface and kind of hold it open with your hand and get it in there really good. Alright, turn it around in circles to get it in there evenly. Find out where you need to have it to get the cork, you know, the best angle. Then take your glue, put it back in the holes to seal it up. So I'm trying to find it here. It's not going to look pretty. You know, the cleaner job you do, the prettier it's going to look. So we're going to do it right there. So we're going to find out some more epoxy. Then we're going to fill the gaps up. It just keeps the cork stronger, keeps water from seeping in, because the thing with cork is the more water that seeps in, your cork has a shelf life. So if you block off all the water from getting inside the internal part of the cork where it's not painted, you extend the shelf life of your cork. Now, I'm talking weeks, not days or hours. You know, that's the only thing. Some people don't lose a cork very often, so it really doesn't matter how well you seal it. It just looks better. It's just nice to keep it nice and clean. So that's pretty much it. You just put it right here to dry. Lay it up against something. And when you're finished, it'll look like that. And what you'll do is when you tie it, you will tie it to the bottom end. Just tie it around there. What you'll do is you'll tie a loop 2 times around the loop. This keeps your cork from sliding up. Or you can put it through this one too and do it this way. The only disadvantage of putting it through both loops is when you get hung up. Usually your cork is real close to the water. Say if you've got a 10-foot leader and your cork and your bait is hung at 10 foot, you'll have to get on your hands and knees, get your hands wet in the 30-degree water or whatever you're fishing, and undo both loops. It's just easier to undo one versus 2 loops. So that's why I only do one on here. Downside of that is it will twist your line over time. When you reel it underwater, it just does this number a little bit, you know, and over time it does twist your line. Pros and cons to all the corks out there, but I hope this helps you to develop, to help do your own corks, you know, and make it from scratch and to finish here. That's it.